I'm with Sean Dowdell of Daze.
How you doing? Thanks for having me.
You know, our friends are going, wait a minute, that name sounds really familiar. Daze, Sean Dowdell. Is that like the band that Chester Bennington was in before he started Linkin Park?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. And one of the reasons we're sitting here and we've got some candles going, we've sort of got like a little bit of a vibe, I would say. I'm feeling the vibe, is you actually have a new song out with Chester.
We do. We have a lot of exciting news.
Okay, this is what I want to do. I want you to take us to this place because Chester is no longer with us, right? But this was actually a project that you and him decided to start. How long ago? How long ago did you start this?
So we originally were in the band from 93 to middle of 98, but this specific album cycle or this project we visited in 2016 and started to work on in 2017, just before he passed.
This has got to be giving you some kind of chills as you were putting this together. There's so many questions I have because this is sort of like the untold story, so to speak, of, where this all started and how this came back around and where it is right now.
Yeah, there's a huge,
there's so much in
huge
between
backstory.
there.
So where would you like me to start?
I would like you to start from the beginning, whatever you feel comfortable with.
So 1992, we were forming a band and auditioning singers, looking for a singer. The guitar player, Chris, says, I know this kid. He sings with my brother. He's a little younger than us, but he's really good. We should try him out. So we had him come in. This kid shows up. He's 90 pounds.
Skinny, right? So skinny.
Skinny doesn't describe it.
Was he geeky looking? I mean, like, I've seen pictures, but he looked a little like he was like the geeky, like, band guy.
So I'm going to say this in full disclosure, and it's a bit embarrassing, but I have to hold myself accountable, right? Like, I had this vision of what a rock star should look like, and he did not fit that mold. And I was like, oh, man, Chris, why did you bring this guy? And he walks to the door. He's got glasses. He's tight, curly hair. And I was just so judgmental. And I was 17 years old. What the fuck did I know about anything? I didn't know anything about anything.
But you had a vision. You thought long hair.
Yeah.
Like,
I just had this preconceived notion of what a rock star should be. It was just so ridiculous. And so I have to make fun of myself when people ask me this because I need to make sure and check myself. But then he came in and he sang. And my jaw hit the ground, and the kid can sing. He's amazing. Out of the gate, had this raw talent.
Right.
And we're like, when can you start?
And that was it.
That was it.
Now, did you put an ad in the classifieds, or it was just asking around?
So we had tried out several people from the ads in the classified, so to speak, and we just couldn't find anybody who could
have the chops,
who could sing, and he could. Day one, he came in, he belted out Pearl Jam, I'm Still Alive, and I remember just thinking, wow, this kid is so great. He's almost as good as Eddie Vedder. It's crazy to think.
Okay, no
about.
offense to Eddie Vedder. I think he was actually better, but that's just me. But
that's who we were growing up idolizing at the time, right? It was Lane Staley and Eddie Vedder and Kurt Cobain and Perry Farrell. Those were our idols in the 90s, and Chester could emulate all of them, by the way, not just one of them. So that's what made Chester so special, is he had this range and this dynamic that I had never seen before as a musician. I was only 17, but he just had this incredible energy. His raw talent was there. Now, obviously, over the years, he honed that, and he got better with experience, and the band became better as we became better songwriters. But out of the gate, he had this raw talent that was really it was just evident.
Right. Now, was there, so how many years were you guys together before he got picked up and it was Linkin Park time?
So from 92 to mid-98, we put out two full-length records. We recorded 3 together. We had a couple record deals. The band imploded in 98 after a show. We got in a big fight.
What was the fight about? Do you remember?
I do remember.
Do you want to talk about it?
I'll talk a little bit about it because Mace Byers, our bass player, he had some addiction problems and some alcoholism and drugs were a big part of everyone's life, but a little bit heavily more in Mace's daily life back then. Now, Mace since then is sober. He's awesome.
That's
he's been
fantastic.
sober for, I don't know, 8 years or whatever at this point, and he's great. But at this time in '98, he was making some decisions that really adversely affected the band, and not showing up for sound checks and not showing up to help load gear and all these other things, and missing recording sessions and just you name it, and he was doing it, and it caused a lot of internal strife in the band, and he was late for a show that we were playing. We had just signed a small production deal with Warner Brothers. We were supposed to go in the studio and record 4 songs in a couple days, and this was kind of a tune-up. Didn't show up to load gear, didn't show up for sound check. 15 minutes before the show, he rolls up on his bike like nothing happened. An argument ensued. We went up on stage in the middle of by the sold out, in the middle of the show. We see a commotion in the back of the club. A couple of guys run up, they jump on stage, and they punch Mace in the face. And
stop it!
Yeah, it was horrible. It was very embarrassing.
Oh my gosh!
He fell into the drum kit, and we kind of
it.
Apologized to the crowd and kind of got our stuff and just went outside and put our tail between our legs. And the argument that ensued, just everyone was screaming at everyone. I said some things to Chester I shouldn't have said. He was talking to Mace the way he shouldn't have. Bobby was yelling at Mace, and it was just a melee, and everyone told each other to F off, and we all went our own ways.
Was this the last show that you had?
That was the last show.
Wow, what a memory to have as the last show together.
It sucked.
That sucks. Okay, but the friendship was so strong and continued over all those years, would you say?
So, yes and no, but I'll give you the backstory. So, our attorney at the time, who had handled our other dealings, said Chester's too good to just let dissolve into the Phoenix music scene. So he said, I had this band out here, come out here and try out, and we'll see what we can get rolling. That's how he ended up joining the band Zero, which became Linkin Park, and the rest of history on that side of the fence. But Chester and I didn't talk for 2 years. We were best friends and did not talk. And then we found out in 2001, 2002, I believe, 2002, maybe it's 2001, I'm not sure, that Bobby Benish, our original guitar player, had been diagnosed with brain cancer. And Chester called me and said, dude, you're my best friend. I miss you. This has been too long. And I apologized. He apologized. And we talked about getting Grade A's back together for a benefit show for that. And then that didn't end up happening. But he and I were two peas in a pod again.
From that point on.
From that point on. And then we ended up becoming business partners in 2003. And we've played in a couple little side project bands. And I've done a lot of little solo stuff with him. And we've been intertwined back on track since that 2001, 2002 conversation.
So here we are, right? 2020, and you're releasing a song that you guys wrote how many years ago? 17 years ago?
So we wrote this specific song. Are we talking about What's in the Eye? Or are we talking about
What's in the Eye?
What's in the Eye? Okay, so What's in the Eye we wrote in 1993. I know that's a while ago.
It is wild. Okay, so you guys wrote this song, and then you had discussed about let's have a reunion. Let's have a Great Daze reunion. Let's make that happen. But what happened?
So up until that point, we had been doing these big club tattoos. So Chester and I owned Club Tattoo together. We did these annual anniversary
Which,
parties.
by the way, you need to tell people, just in case they don't know what Club Tattoo is. It's tattoo places, and you have one in Vegas, right?
We have 3 in Las Vegas, and we have 4 in Arizona. It's a kind of a upscale luxury tattoo and piercing concept. It's a really cool technical experience with digital touch screens and all this really cool.
It's amazing.
It's a lifestyle brand. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I checked it out. I was like, "Ooh, I have a couple of tats. I got to get another one the next time I'm in Vegas."
Well, we will take care of you.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
So he was our business partner in Club Tattoo, and then he called me. He was on the road, and I could tell he was just like, I want to change. He says, we need to do another Club Tattoo party. We haven't done one in a couple of years. I said, yeah, that sounds like fun. They're a lot of work, so. We took a couple years off, so we're like, let's do another one. He says, you know what? I want to put Grade A's back together for that show. And I said, wow, that's all right.
That's taking on a lot of responsibility.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, but that's, how do you say no to that, right?
Yeah,
so,
you don't.
I said, that sounds amazing. He says, I miss having a rock band of my own. I miss playing with you. I just want to have something of my own. I said, okay, let's do it. So, from that point, we had announced that we were doing a reunion show. It was supposed to be September 20th of 17. And then as the rehearsals started and we started diving into the music and getting all the pieces in play, he and I started having discussions. We have this giant repertoire of recording of these music. Why don't we re-record this stuff and put it out? He's like, I love it. So as that started off, we started working with a producer and started developing some of the stuff. We kind of came to the conclusion, like, we need to remodernize this music. We're not going to track it exactly how it was in the 90s. It's sounding a little dated. This wasn't produced right. Let's produce this stuff like
the right way.
Should have been had we gotten a major deal back in the 90s. So that's the approach we started. And then, unfortunately, just a couple months later, he ended up passing away. And I didn't get a chance at that point to do it with him.
You know, I was able to watch a little docu-series, which I really enjoyed watching, you know, and seeing Chester's mom and, you know, share how much he loved you and Gray Daze and how, you know, this all was like part of like a happy time in his life, you know, and this may be too personal and you don't have to answer it or not, but like right now, like as you're talking about it, do you get any kind of emotion like where you feel like he's here, he's getting this vibe, you know, like because he's been here, you know, so many times. We've done so many shows with him in our private little studio. You know, so his aura and his energy, I just feel sort of like, I don't know. Are you feeling that?
He's around me all the time. I feel his energy, his presence, his soul, whatever you want to say, around me all the time. He was definitely with me in the studio when we retracked this stuff. He's with me in some very difficult times. I feel him quite a bit, and I hope I'm doing him justice, not only with this music, but with the things that he left behind that needed to be taken care of.
Well, and I think that you are. I mean, just from what I've, you know, what I've dove into to do a little background and do a little, you know, I wanted to feel out how his mom felt and how, you know, his wife had felt about all this, and everyone is so supportive. And then not only do you have Chester's vocals on this, but on the record you have family members as well, which is just, to me, it's really like heartfelt.
Thank you.
It really is. It hits a heartstring.
So about midway through the recording process, I just, like a thunderbolt hit me. We should have his kids come in and sing on this. He never got a chance to record with his kids. This is something he would absolutely have loved to do. So I reached out to all the children, you know, Jamie, Draven, Tyler, Lila, Lily. And Talinda had thought that the little ones, Tyler, Lily, and Lila, were just a little too young to kind of make that decision. And I totally respected it. I said, that's fine. There's no pressure. I'm just putting it out there.
Right.
Draven was a little apprehensive. I don't think he knew how he felt or how he should feel. He was a little, just a little confused, a little gray. And but we think he'll come back and probably want to sing on the next one. He's showing a lot more interest now. We're having some different conversations there. But when we introduced it to Jamie was like, absolutely, when do you need me there?
He was in.
He saw the opportunity the same way I did. Like, there's a chance for you to connect with your father and sing with your dad, and you never got to do that. So he came in, we gave him a couple choices of songs, and he chose a song called Soul Song, and he sings the backing vocal part throughout the song with his dad, and he does a great job. He sounds amazing, and Chester would be very proud of him.
You talking about this is going to make me tear up, because that's really, really special, and it was done with your heart. This isn't somebody trying to like capitalize and go, oh, you know, this is my old band. You know, you hear a lot of, you know, I just want to tell you like how I feel as somebody who's in this industry. I don't feel that way at all. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this is like a love.
I hope not, because
no, I don't.
I'm an entrepreneur and I'm very successful in the field that I'm in. And this took a lot of time and money and energy from us to complete this record.
Right.
Without any intention of trying to make a bunch of money. As a matter of fact, we made sure to carve out a nice piece of everything for Chester's children for the future and perpetuity, and make sure that it was all done with the right intent from the get-go. We had to curate this. We felt the weight of the world, an enormous responsibility of doing this the right way. And of course we knew there was going to be some people right out of the gate. These guys are only doing this for the money. They're only doing this.
You're going to get that. But this is not what this is about.
Yeah, and I can't argue with fools, right? Like,
right.
I don't have time to explain every little aspect of how and why we came to this. The bottom line of this is we were working on this with Chester while he was alive. This is something Chester was proud of, and it's something he wanted out there. Everything else, we've had to guess his intentions and what he would want to do. And I'm doing my best, and I think we did a damn good job. There's going to be some people that disagree with me, but I can only focus on the positive and bring to light what I think the world would want to hear from Chester. And I think these songs are amazing. I think we did a fantastic job. And I think Chester's very proud of the entire project wherever he's at.
This is the unheard chapter. It really is. And being able to hear it and what you've recreated is amazing. It really is. And being able to sit here and have you share your heart with me today, so much. And the song, you can listen to the song right now. You have your own channel on iHeartRadio.
Yes, thank you so much for doing that.
It's to me. I love that. I was like, oh yes, this is so great.
I have to admit, I did smile pretty widely when I saw that. I was like, that's really cool.
You can find it on the iHeartRadio app. It's amazing. I've enjoyed this so much, Sean, and I look forward to more music from Grey Daze.
Thank you.
And bringing in Chester's kids, and I do really appreciate the sincerity here today.
Thank you so much. I hope to come back and talk about more.
I'd love that. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.